Hey Scorpio, welcome to your reading. It's Empress Rose here, and these are general readings, and so you take what works and then you leave what doesn't, as with everything in life. And if I don't catch your wavelength on this reading, check your other major placements. And I've been posting the pictures of the spreads at the end of the reading, so if you want to check my work or maybe, I don't know, see what you got, recap the whole experience. So all right, Scorpio, let's see what the intuitive deck, I forget what it's called, has for you. Okay, that's a lot. No, it's not a lot. It's just, it's not my favorite number of cards, but it's only one more. Oh my goodness. We have two umbrellas here. Oh. Yeah, okay. Fascinating. All right, so we have the perfect key. So this is, you got hurt, as happens here on this planetary existence, and you locked your heart away, and you locked something away. It looks like a heart, it is a heart, but it could symbolize a lot of different things. And you have the perfect, you have an ability to open it, or there's something locked up here. Actually, I've gotten this card before about somebody else, like, you know, not being able to relate to someone, them not opening up to me, but yet being in a situation where that would probably be very useful. So it could be just something's locked up here. Somebody's heart's locked up here, and maybe it's yours, maybe it's not yours. And you've got the perfect key. If not here, then your heart has some messages for you here and has some other keys for you to try. So it's near at hand. You're going to be able to open this up, this situation or this person or even yourself. Open it up with a key. You've got the answer. You've got the right key. It's right at hand. It's very close. You're not going to have to work too hard. And then we have the observer here. So you're very focused on something. Maybe you're very focused on opening this up. I mean, look at how she's looking askance at the past. She's like, yeah, I know why this is locked up. I know exactly why this is locked up, and I'm used to it, and I know what happened here, and I'm not really interested in opening it up. Anyway, so then we have focused concentration. This could be through social media. You're watching somebody or something very closely with a lot of commitment. It's not like oh, this is an interesting thing I will become obsessed with for today only. This is like a pretty long-term obsession or focus on something. This could be a career, this could be a person, this could be something like that. You're very committed to it. You have a lot of ideas about it. There's just like a sliver of intuition about it. It's not like really strong, like, yep, this is where we're going. It's sort of just like, something about this is sparking a little niggle in me. You might get a little distracted sometimes, but that's actually part of the dance here of like being focused on something and then being distracted in that sort of interaction. My shoulders are all up high. And that sort of interaction between those two things can often create some nice new ideas as they sort of pass each other on the threshold of your conscious awareness. They can sort of start passing ideas back and forth, and new combinations. So this is what I find interesting is these two cards. I don't think I've ever gotten these two cards out together. Both of them have an umbrella. So we're like underscoring something very clearly. You are very protective of an idea, and you're very protective of this too, right? A lot of protection. You are protecting an idea. Look, they're birds. They're both red. They're, I think, inspiring ideas or inspiration. And here you have the gift. This is sort of your gift that you're meant to give to the world. And so you're definitely protecting something, and it's not you. You're in both of these, you're a little bit out in the cold. You're getting wet. You're not protected. You're protecting this thing at your own expense, and you're protecting this bird at your own expense. Here you guys are sort of matchy. It's become a part of you. And this is sort of, this can reference to me the gift. It's called the gift that you're here to bring, or it could just be something that you're here to bring. But look, I feel like there's some similarity in these two cards. They're both holding this thing dangling down here. And, you know, it's the gift. Is your heart the gift? Is your creativity the gift? There's some sort of gift here. And there's some sort of close connection to an idea. You know, in this deck, like these feathers and these birds are always talking about an idea. I think this is a brilliant, exciting idea, and I think this is an idea that's been with you for a very long time, and you're very protective to your own expense. You have allowed yourself to be exposed to elements, maybe even hurt and harmed, as you protect something. So look at, you're protecting something a lot. There's 3 cards where you're protecting something. Looks like an idea, but you are leaving yourself exposed and harming yourself as you protect this. So I find those cards very interesting. It's some sort of idea or inspiration that, I mean, you're protecting it for a reason, right? But maybe that protection, you know, is the princess locked up in the tower to protect her from others, or to protect others from her, or like there's some sort of like something's been locked away. And I think initially it was about protecting that thing from being harmed. And now I think that that thing, possibly your heart or an idea or some concept, being locked away like that is actually causing you harm when the original intent was to prevent harm. All right, Scorpio, this is your past. Oopsie. This is your present. This is your inner landscape. This is what's at issue. This is your environment. This is your to-do list, and this is your possible outcome. Fascinating. Okay, I keep this deck all in the uprights because I like the, because in this spread that I do that I like, just one thing ends up being in the, and what's at issue, and then that we take that as a reversal. But some of these cards got mixed up, and 2 of them did, and so we're going to take them as they came out, because there are no mistakes in tarot, and it's debatable whether there are mistakes in real life, but I mean, we can feel like we made a mistake and go oopsie like I did, or but was it a mistake? I don't know. All right, in your recent past you have this Knight of Swords. This is I'm getting a defensive maneuvering here, charging forward with truth, focus, standing up for yourself, fighting. He's coming in fighting with the truth. He's standing up for the truth. He's very strong, very focused. Look at that. We've got 2 cards being extremely focused on something, very goal-oriented. This is some long-term. This is like if he was also the Knight of Pentacles and he was slow-moving and long-term. But we got 2 cards of focus. So, so very focused, fast-moving energy here in your recent past. In your present situation, you are an artist, which I find interesting because that's what I think of when I think of these 2 cards, is protecting some sort of vision, some sort of artistic vision, maybe your, you know, your great novel, your artistic vision, especially with this pink bird. This pink bird I always think of as artistic vision, and protecting it at the cost of yourself, of your own safety and well-being, which of course isn't great, because who's gonna bring this gift to the world if not you? It's your gift to bring to the world, and if you're not protecting yourself, then that gift doesn't get brought to the world unless you protect yourself. So this is the artist, though. This is this deck has 2 additional things, and so this is the artist card. So this is about we may actually be talking about art here. So this is about paying attention to reality and joining with reality and coming to reality. So I like how he mirrors the stance of the tree, but it's human, and bringing our humanity into our work, and being very focused. He again is very, we have another focus card. When you're doing a plein air drawing like this, you're very focused on the object, and it becomes like a form of intimacy to be, you know, he's focused on an object that's at a distance. And we have that here too, focusing on an object that's at a distance. And bringing your own interpretation. You know, art is a dance between reality and the person and their personal vision. And I see that in both of these, your personal vision coming forward here. And working with reality, dancing with reality, paying close attention to everything you see and to the details and all of that. And then what we have in your inner landscape is the reversed star. This is, I think you're afraid, and you might be correct, that you are not in the flow right now, that you might be having some writer's block or some artist block or something like that. You're not feeling like you're in the flow. You're worried that you're not on the right path. You're worried, and I think you're not getting the kudos that you need, or the affirmations that you need that you are on the right path. So I think you might be very concerned that you've taken a wrong turn somewhere, and I think that that's why we're having this discussion here about mistakes and wrong turns. You might be needing to be redirected to get back onto your path, or you might actually be on your path. And you think mistakes were made, but mistakes were not made. So you're afraid and you're worried about not being on your path, not finding your path. But one of the things I have faith in and I believe in, but I struggle to sometimes. But it is one of those phases that brings me through my hardest times, is that it's not possible to be outside of the sort of divine plan. It's not possible. And so we make these mistakes, like putting a card in or two cards in on the wrong direction. But are they mistakes? Because we end up learning a lot and noticing more. And so you may feel like you've made a mistake and taken a wrong turn and you're not on your path, but this is part of your path. So if you can go back to making the right turn, because you've neglected yourself somehow here. But you can go back to getting back on track with this artwork or whatever you're working on. You can't go back, but you can correct, you can course correct. So if you feel like you need a course correction, spend very little time worried about having made a mistake, because it was all part of your path anyway. You were meant to, it's part of your path. So I believe, and struggle to believe sometimes, that we can't be outside of the plan and outside of it, and we're all moving at our own pace and dealing with different things, and we can make mistakes, but they're for us, they're for our benefit, so that we can learn. So if you feel like you've deviated from your true path and you're not feeling very inspired, or you're something like that, so this could be not being inspired by your path or by where you're at here. And some kind of writer's block, and not feeling the flow, not being in that flow energy that's so important to writers and artists. But this could also be like feeling like you've taken a wrong turn and worried that you've taken a wrong turn. So you can course correct. You can't go back in time, but you can course correct from here, or you can accept this this new journey and this new that you kind of veered off on, or you're worried that you veered off on something. And so what's at issue, this came out in the upright, even though I was attempting to bring it out in the reversal. So we're going to just take it up in the upright. Because there are no mistakes. So this is the moon, especially in tarot, there are no mistakes. And it's another thing that I believe, but I struggle to believe it in my actual life, that there are no mistakes. Just learning experiences and redirections and that kind of thing. But here's the moon. This is not seeing, she's waiting patiently for the intuition to come, for the insight to come, for the inspiration to come, but she just can't see it. It's not there. It's a little bit dark, but look, she's out here looking at the stars here. So it's hard to feel too sorry for her, because she's like immersed in sort of the magic of the universe here. So even though she's very worried and afraid that she isn't, she is, she can't see very clearly. And that's just the problem, I think, that you're facing right now, is that you're very worried that because you can't see very clearly, because you're not getting a lot of clarity in your situation. You're worried that you've taken a wrong turn. And so that's causing a problem for you, is that lack of clarity that you're experiencing. Hopefully you're enjoying the stars on the night sky the same way this woman is. And here she's got this like roiling of fish underneath her feelings. She's got all these feelings down here deep in her subconscious, just a lot of stuff going on down there. She's trying to remain calm here, but she can't see very clearly. There is some sort of intuition that needs to happen. I think she's a little bit in awe of what's going on around her. But I'm curious about the subconscious stuff that she seems to be stifling, and maybe that's playing a role in not being able to see very clearly and in feeling like she's off her path, because there's a lot of like fish moving around down there. She seems completely unaware of them, completely she's just sitting on top of them, and there's a lot of emotion down there that's being ignored. And that's causing a problem, because it's impossible. I don't know if it's impossible. I wouldn't want to say that, even though I just did, but I don't believe that. But I think it's highly unlikely when when we're in situations where we have to suppress something, and here we are definitely suppressing something because it felt safe and unsafe at one point to bring it out. We're definitely suppressing something in here, these fish, this heart situation. We're tamping down on these feelings, and it's unbelievably difficult to be in your intuition, to be artistic and creative. It's almost impossible to do that when you're having to stifle and put aside a whole section. You don't get to, that stifling of your intuition isn't like, it's not like you can just stifle that part and then play with this part. It's like the whole box, the whole paint box is either open or it's shut. And you can't just open half that, I guess you could like saw the lid in half and open up half your box of paints here and just paint with these colors, the ones that are over here that you feel safe and comfortable painting with. I mean, but that's ridiculous. Your paint box is either open or it's shut. So if we're thinking of our emotions, it's different colors of paint and that kind of thing. If you're working artistically or trying to work with that, you can't have this whole place that you've shut out, because it shuts out all of the intuition. So, if I had remained in a place where I was being shut down constantly, I couldn't do this. It was only after I left that place in that situation where I was able to like start allowing my intuition to come out, and it's there, it's ready to come out. It's ready. It just needs a safe place and a safe opportunity to come out. And so once my subconscious felt safe with that, a lot of stuff started to come out, and then I started to be able to access my intuition better and these readings better. But I could never have done these readings if I'd stayed in a situation where it just was not safe for me to really feel whatever I felt and explore that. So in your environment, you have, this actually has shown up in several different readings today. You have this Four of Swords. There's some sort of pause, giant pause going on in your environment. So if you're an actor, this is about the whole industry being shut down. There's just some sort of, everything's shut down for a while here. There's just a big pause. And this pause can be used for planning, rejuvenation. This is my nap card. Go take a nap, get rejuvenated. Because it's not like when you take a nap, you then die and you never wake up again. It's just sleep. It's just sleep, and everybody needs sleep, and some sort of creative process may need sleep in order to get rejuvenated here. But there's some sort of giant pause going on in some aspect of your life right now in your environment, and that's where all this is taking place. And it may, sometimes when we plateau or when our work takes a pause, it can leave us feeling like we're lost and we took a wrong turn. I know for actors, it's like, if you don't get a job for a long time, you can be like, what am I even doing? But that's just how the flow is. And you're feeling out of the flow, but it could just be that there's just this natural pause here. I mean, because you can't stay awake 24/7, like you'll die, literally. So you have to go to sleep. So you have to have these pauses, these rests, these breaks, doing something else. It's not like your mind completely shuts off when you're sleeping. You're dreaming the whole time. It's just some other thing is happening, is in control. So there's a big pause going on here, and it's for the purpose of rest and rejuvenation and planning and gathering things. You know, we can't have constant springs and summers of springs of inspiration and summers and falls of harvest. It can't be fall or harvest season all the time. We got to have that winter in there. The plants, at least in or at least in climates that experience seasons, those plants are designed to have a rest period, and they rely on it. And that is being in the flow, is having that rest period and that break. That's the flow. That's the seasons changing. That's how it survives. It can't be constantly in bloom. It can't be constantly bearing fruit. It needs this break and this rest. So you may be feeling and afraid that you're somehow out of your flow, but all that's happening is a natural, normal rest. It's winter. Got to be winter. You got to go to sleep. You got to have some winter. At least that's the seasonal metaphor for places that have seasons, right? Your to-do list is to get into this fair, generous energy. Somehow that's going to, because everything really is all connected, somehow this fair, generous energy is going to open up something. So if you are being stingy, that stinginess affects everything in your life. Even your art, even your work, even your sense of inspiration. If you're being stingy with your love, or stingy with your listening, or stingy with your compassion, it's affecting everything else. Then you end up with being stingy with your artwork, being stingy with all of this other stuff. So you need to be so your to-do list, that's what this slot is called, is fairness and generosity. Being generous, giving and receiving, keeping that flow, keeping the flow of money, keeping the flow of resources, opening up some kind of flow, because you know, money is meant to flow, water is meant to flow, all these things are meant to flow. And I really think that if you're doing this, these other things can't flow. So you need to be, you know, paying it forward, giving of yourself, being generous. Maybe doing some acts of charity can always help when we're feeling stuck, because it accesses our compassion and opens up our heart. It can be a heart opener, you know, so helping others is going to help you with this sense of blocked. So in the meantime, you know, if you're not feeling inspired, if you're feeling out of the flow, if you can't see what's going on, if everything's kind of shut down, you may be like the one person that's awake at the slumber party, and you're like, what's going on? And everyone else is snoozing and asleep, and it's like sleep time, and you're like, oh, I thought it was just a failure at slumber parties, but we're actually oh, okay, we're sleeping. So there could be something like that, but you need to like be helping others, and this is somehow going to open up. So doing some acts of generosity, some altruistic behavior, and there's no such thing as true altruism. If it feels good to you, which most of us, it does feel good to help others. If that feels good to you, then you're helping yourself. But helping others is a way to break out of some sort of stagnancy, and being generous with your time and your energy and your money and your thoughts, because writer's block can also just be about being very critical, not being generous with ourselves, writing one sentence and being like, oh my gosh, this sucks. And so those kind of blocks you need to have some generosity and open the flow here. Possible outcome, we have the Lovers. So the Lovers, it's very exciting to see this card. It's like, ooh, lovers, yeah. Being in love, getting some, that's exciting. But it also is like a Romeo and Juliet card. And I don't mean that, like, that story is kind of messed up. And it's about, you know, these choices that we have to make, and sometimes at pretty young ages, of whether we're going to follow the rules and only date the people that our parents say we can date, and only follow these rules, only have the career that makes sense, that that we can explain at the family gatherings and everybody appreciates and can understand. Doing the thing that we're supposed to do. You know, your parents want you to be a lawyer. this card is referencing, are you going to be a lawyer or are you going to be an artist? Because one of those gets a lot of approval and one of them has no approval whatsoever, or very little, until you get into the artist community, and then you get, we're very supportive of each other typically. So it is that choice. So that's where you could be going, is having to make a choice, needing to make a choice between a career that, or a partnership, or even in art, we're having to make these choices. Are we going to make art that sells? Is that what our focus is? Because art that really sells is actually like the viewer can see the inspiration, the viewer can see and sense that this was from the heart, and that's why they love it. So you can fail at doing what you were supposed to do. I think Jim Carrey has this great quote about that. Like, you can fail at the safety career, on your safety. I have known people that picked their safety career and then that whole field tanked and there was nothing. And you know, at some point they made a choice to go with the safety career, and there's almost no such thing anymore as a safety career. So this is between the safe career and the not safe career, the safe relationship and the more risky intuitive relationship. So you're going to want to get back into your intuition here in order to make that kind of decision and in order to be able to tell. But even in individual artworks, like, you can decide on something where you're getting that feeling of like, this seems very exciting, and that thing of like, oh, but you know, people don't tend to buy stuff like that. So you might have to start making those decisions. And I would encourage you to always go with the thing, because if you're, yeah, because why do art if you're not going with the thing that feels good, right? So anyway, I do almost anything. I know there's things we have to do, but so anyway, I hope you find a path forward here and to open up and to protect your dream and your vision, and get that flowing. So, all right, Scorpio, thank you so much for your likes, comments, and subscribes. I really do like them, and I enjoy hearing from you guys and interacting with you on Twitter and here. So find me on Twitter. I'm Light Train is my @ a Light Train over on Twitter. Also eRose over there. So anyway, I hope you have a wonderful week.